Shalom and welcome to Daily Torah Reading. We are in Shemot or Exodus 33. So let's read along with me. Exodus 33, starting on verse 1. Then Yahweh said to Moses, Set out from here, you and the people that you have brought up from the land of Egypt, to the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, saying, To your offspring will I give it. I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. But I will not go in your midst, since you are a stiff-necked people, lest I destroy you on the way. When the people heard this harsh word, they went into mourning, and none put on his finery. Yahweh said to Moses, Say to Bnei Israel, you are a stiff-necked people. If you were to go in your midst for a moment, I will destroy you. Now then, leave off your finery, and I will consider what to do to you. So the Israelites remained stripped of the finery from Mount Horeb on. Now Moshe would take the tent and pitch it outside the camp. At some distance from the camp, it was called the tent of meeting. And whoever sought Yahweh would go to the tent of meeting that was outside the camp. When Moshe went out to the tent, all the people would rise and stand, each at the entrance of his tent, and gaze after Moshe until he had entered the tent. And when Moshe entered the tent, a pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent while he spoke with Moshe. 10. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud poised at the entrance of the tent, all the people would rise and bow low, each at the entrance of his tent. Yahweh would speak to Moshe face to face as one man speaks to another, and he would then return to the camp. But his attendant, Yehoshua, son of Nun, a youth, would not stir out of the tent. Moshe said to Yahweh, See, you say to me, lead this people forward, but you have not made known to me whom you will send with me. Further, you have said, I have singled you out by name, and you have indeed gained my favor. Now, if I have truly gained your favor, pray, let me know your ways, that I may know you and continue in your favor. Consider, too, that this nation is your people. And he said, I will go in the lead and will lighten your burden. And he said to him, Unless you go in the lead, do not make us leave this place. For how shall it be known that your people have gained your favor unless you go with us, so that we may be distinguished, your people and I, from every people on the face of the earth? And Yahweh said to Moses, I will also do this thing that you have asked, for you have truly gained my favor, and I have singled you out by name. He said, let me, beloved, your presence. And he answered, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim before you the name Yahweh, and the grace that I grant, and the compassion that I show. 20. But he said, you cannot see my face, for man may not see me and live. And Yahweh said, See, there is a place near me. Station yourself in the rock, And as my presence passes by, I will put my hand. 22 again. And as the presence passes by, I will put you in the cleft of the rock and shield you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen. Chapter 34. Yahweh said to Moshe, carve 2 tablets of stone like the first, and I will inscribe upon the tablets the words that were in the first tablets, which you shattered. Be ready by morning, and in the morning come up to Har Sinai, and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. No one else shall come up with you, and no one else shall be seen anywhere on the mountain, neither shall the flocks and the herds graze at the foot of the mountain. So Moshe carved 2 tablets of stone like the first, and early in the morning he went up on Har Sinai as Yahweh had commanded him, taking the 2 stone tablets with him. Yahweh came down in a cloud. He stood with him there and proclaimed the name Yahweh. Yahweh passed before him and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh, our Yahweh, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in kindness and faithfulness, extending kindness to the 1000th generation, forgiving iniquity, transgression, and sin, yet he does not remit all punishment, but visits the iniquity of parents upon children and children's children upon the 3rd and 4th generations. Moshe hastened to bow low to the ground in homage and said, if I have gained your favor, O Yahweh, pray let Yahweh go in our midst, even though this is a stiff-necked people. Pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your own. 10. He said, I hereby make a covenant before all your people. I will work such wonders as have not been wrought on all the earth or in any nation, and all the people who are with you shall see how awesome are Yahweh's deeds, which I will perform for you. Mark well what I commanded you to say. I will drive out before you the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, before of making a covenant with the inhabitants of Beware of making a covenant with the inhabitants of the land against which you are advancing, lest they be a snare in your midst. No, you must tear down the altars, smash the pillars, and cut down the sacred poles. For you must not worship any other God, because Yahweh, whose name is impassionate, is an impassionate God. You must not make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, for they will lust after their gods and sacrifice to their gods, and invite you, and you will eat of their sacrifices. And when you take wives from among their daughters for your sons, their daughters will lust after their gods, and will cause your sons to lust after their gods. You shall not make molten gods for yourself. You shall observe the festival of Passage, eating unleavened bread for 7 days, as I have commanded you, at the set time of the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib you went forth from Egypt. Every first issue of the womb is mine from all your livestock that drive a male, a firstling, whether cattle or sheep. 20. But the firstling of an ass you shall redeem with a sheep. If you do not redeem it, you must break its neck, and you must redeem every firstborn among your sons. None shall appear before me empty-handed. 6 days you shall work, but on the seventh day you shall cease from labor. You shall cease from labor even at plowing time and harvest time. You shall observe the festival of Shabbat, of the firstfruits, of the wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the turn of the year. 3 times a year all your males shall appear before the sovereign Yahweh, the God of Israel. I will drive out nations from your path and allot your territory. No one will covet your land when you go up to appear before Yahweh, your God, 3 times a year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with anything leavened, and the sacrifice of the festival of Pesach shall not be left lying until morning. The choice firstfruits of your soul you shall bring to the house of Yahweh your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. And Yahweh said to Moshe, write down those commandments, for in accordance with the commandments I make a covenant with you and with Israel. And he was there with Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. He ate no bread and drank no water, and he wrote down on the tablet the term of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. So Moshe came down from Mount Sinai. So Moshe came down from Har Sinai. And as Moshe came down from the mountain, being the 2 tablets of the pact, Moshe was not aware that his skin of his face was radiant, since he had spoken with him. 30. Aaron and all the Israelites saw that the skin of Moshe's face was radiant, and they shrank from coming near him. But Moshe called to them, and Aaron and all the chieftains and the assembly returned to him, and Moses spoke to them. Afterwards all the Israelites came near, and he instructed them concerning all that Yahweh had imparted to him on Har Sinai. And when Moshe had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. Whenever Moshe went in before Yahweh to speak with him, he would leave the veil off until he came out. And when he came out and told the Israelites what he had been commanded, the Israelites would see how radiant the skin of Moshe's face was. Moshe would then put the veil back over his face until he went in to speak with him. This concludes the daily Torah reading. May Yah bless you and keep you. May He shine His face upon you and fill you with His truth and righteousness and His shalom in Yeshua's name. From daily Torah reading until tomorrow, shalom.